This is the Simulation Football League, presented by APM Music on YouTube. Fort Worth are happy to be back home in the Stockyards after getting knocked around by San Diego last week. They will face the resurgent Charleston Predators, who have completely turned their season around after starting 0-4. It's surf versus turf as we march toward the playoffs. Good evening, folks. I'm Tyler Folk, joined in the booth here by John Warren. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody, on this Sunday afternoon. Glad to have you with us, John. John, we've got a great one brewing here for us. The Toros, a little bit shaky, a little bit unsteady after the loss last week. Charleston, a 4-game win streak to get themselves back in the playoff hunt. Both teams looking to keep their momentum going as we hit the final third of this regular season.
Yeah, and it has not been luck that has been on Charleston's side. It has really been a big turnaround. Lakeman has obviously played much better than that first 0-4 start that Charleston had. They are looking to keep that momentum going. They're one of the hottest teams in football. As far as Fort Worth goes, yeah, they've had a stumble. They still occupy the top spot of a logjam of a South Division. So today is a good opportunity for them to put a little bit of space between them and the rest of the division. And I'm looking forward to a good game.
As here we go from Fort Worth, Texas. The Toros will get the ball to start off the football game, and here comes the return man from his own 5-yard line, trying to stretch it out right-hand side. Lily Nakai! Here goes Lily on the far right side, and she gets it across midfield to begin the festivities here in the Stockyards.
Lily Nakai, what an absolute monster start to this game. Nakai cuts out to the right side. Look at all that space. If she has just an ounce more speed behind her, she might have broken that one. Big, strong receiver and return specialist, and that's excellent field position for Fort Worth.
So out comes Marcus Dunhill for his first drive of the ball game, and he starts in excellent field position on the Charleston 47, and it is number 47, Jay-Z Bacon, the tailback, getting the first call of the game, going for 4 yards. And let's meet the rest of that Toros offense. Jay-Z Bacon and Charlie Baker are the tailbacks, with Aaron Alexander at fullback. E.J. Minson, Stephen Hacker, Cade Stevens, and Lily Nakai are the wideouts, with Robert Garrett Jr. and James Jennings at tight end. On the line, it's Emilio Panda at tackle and Frank Burks and Gordo Enorme at guard. They look to try and punch holes for Bacon and protect Marcus Dunhill in the pocket. And Dunhill goes back in the pocket and looking middle, cut, and turning upfield goes Stephen Hacker to get our first points of the ball game. Touchdown, Toros!
I haven't even caught my breath from that Lily Nakai return, and already it's Stephen Hacker breaking out in the middle of the field, getting behind two receivers. The safety did not, left way too much space in the middle of the field here. You'll see it on the replay, and Hacker just turns on the jets. Oh, that is just too aggressive to try to make a play on that ball, and Hacker, the veteran, making moves and getting into the end zone. We're not even a minute into this game, and Fort Worth putting their stamp on this game.
Hacker turns Sam Blotner inside out and streaks his way downfield for the opening score for 43 yards. Extra point from Amelia Rose is up and good, and it's Fort Worth 7, Charleston nothing, with only 46 seconds taken off the clock.
Yeah, Blotner is a ball hawk. I mean, 4 interceptions for the season, really one of the most aggressive and productive players on the Charleston defense. Great pass defender as well, but again, too aggressive there. But that's the way he's going to play.
So how does Charleston respond? Here they come. Hannes Adobe out of a tackle, and Adobe trying to make something happen. And that's a great return for the Predator return man, up to his own 30 line, and that is where his offense, led by John Lakeman, will take over.
This might be a track meet today, partner. I don't know. I'm getting the feeling that both these teams are going to try to hit home runs early and often. And Honus Adobe, not quite as good field position as Lily Nakai gave the Toros, but another good start for John Lakeman.
From a fan's point of view, you want to see
absolutely
a gun show. We've already had one gun show yesterday with Arizona and Tulsa that I'm still recovering from, but hopefully we get more of the same here tonight and what's been promised to be the game of the week. And it starts out extremely well here for the Preds as Benjamin Warner picks up 18.
Both teams coming out aggressive on both sides of the ball, which is a lot of fun. Like you said, the fans, this is a great fan game. Both these teams trying to make turnovers. Aiden Davis, who has had amazing games over the past few weeks, tried to pick that one off a little too aggressive there. So, yeah, both teams coming out trying to make plays on both sides of the ball. It's exciting to see.
So after the Warner reception, Lakeman will go under center with an offset eye behind him. Back to pass again, blitz coming, quick cutter underneath and streaking forward. What a beautiful play design. Xavier Solomon, the tight end, gets in between the linebackers and picks up another Pred first down.
Yeah, kind of quietly, Xavier Solomon has been one of John Lakeman's favorite targets. Obviously, Davius Reed, Benjamin Warner, I've gotten a lion's share of the yards, but a lot of targets go Xavier Solomon's way. You can see why.
13 yards for Solomon, now the third play of the drive. Last two plays have gone for 10-plus yards. Blitz coming from the outside, picked up, Lakeman center, and caught again by Solomon in traffic. Another first down for Charleston.
Both these quarterbacks, both these teams, they're energized. This is maybe the most energized first 2 minutes of an SFL game I've seen this season so far. And both these teams just try to get down the field fast.
Well, from a couple of offset eyes to now just a straight up eye formation with two wide receivers right. Now will be shifting to one on either side of the line as Davis Reed goes in motion. Mostly monitored by Aiden Davis. Lakeman back to pass again. Looking near side this time, and it's the first reception that goes under 10 yards. It's 5 yards to Anas Adobe, and let's introduce you to the rest of the Predator offense. Nick Hoagland and Sheridan Storm are the tailbacks with Terrell Sutherland and Brad Taylor Wright at fullback. Benjamin Warner, Davius Reed, Anas Adobe, Ian Francis, and Brenington James are the wideouts. Xavier Solomon and Leon Sadcastle are the tight ends. And on the line, it's St. Nebuchadnezzar, Perrin Ibarra, Debrickshire Molinek, Mo, Finley James, and Leroy James. Two tight end, two back look. First carry of the ball game for Hoagland, and Hoagland breaks a tackle, gets the first down, and then is shoved down by Ben Stone as Charleston's drive continues.
Strong run from Hoagland there, and you can see Lakeman trying to calm his team down maybe a little bit. We had that Honus Adobe curl route coming back to the ball for 5 yards. Now Hoagland was strong running, keeping those legs turning, broke a tackle, will get the first down.
Now from the 13-yard line of Fort Worth, Lakeman with a five-man rush, looking over the middle. Honus Adobe hauls it in, and Charleston come right back down the field, and they score via the pass from Lakeman to Adobe.
Yeah, and Adobe just got the edge here. He gets to the middle of the field, does this great inside move, gets behind the safety there. That was Brimington James, and just right on his chest. A perfect pass from John Lakeman, and wow, great start for both these offenses.
Here comes Brad Bretchett to tack home the extra point. Snap, spot, kick is up, and it is good. Two drives, one for either team, both with opening touchdowns after that six-play, 69-yard drive. Ends with that man right there, Anas Adobe, picking up touchdown for Charleston. Adobe's second touchdown of the season.
You can see this is, the first 4 weeks of the Charleston Predators season. It was just marked by inconsistent play, low contribution from a bunch of skill players. This has been a big turnaround for this team.
Lili Nakai's return is halted at the 32-yard line. Was able to get the opening return beyond the 50-yard line. Not so this time, but still a decent return nonetheless. as the
I
Toros will
was
come out onto the field again.
I was about to say, yeah, it's no 50-yard line, but still starting at the 32 is not a bad starting point for Marcus Dunhill and the rest of this Toros offense.
Marcus Dunhill will start under center with an offset eye behind him on 1st and 10. Start with the handoff right side for Bacon. Bacon is corralled after a gain of 1 by a pod of Predator defenders. And let's meet that Predator defense. Anthony Robertson, Dan Dash, Forrest Dalton, and Anthony Ellison are the linemen, with Khalil Thomas, Gino McFly, Jack Brown, and Mojon Tana at linebacker. Corey Menner, Mark Martin, and Adam Nold are the corners, with John Stamango, Jacob Clear, Sam Blotner, and Matt Ryan at safety. Another run. This time it's Charlie Baker gets out of the tackle, and Jack Brown with a lunging tackle to halt his advance.
Jack Brown is just one of the best tacklers in football and just closed the gap there. That could have been a much, much, much bigger play from Charlie Baker, but went up against one of the best linebackers in the league.
Instead, it brings up a 3rd and short. First 3rd down of the ball game for the Toros. They go to Bacon, and Bacon goes to the right side and picks up the 1st down after the hole was created for him, and it's a 1st down for the Toros.
I'm a little surprised that we haven't gone back to the track meet, but maybe Dunhill and the Toros decided, hey, this isn't necessarily our game. Might want to slow it down a little bit, but we might see Dunhill start airing it out here once they've established the run a little bit.
Might not want to slow it down too much. They already have equaled their total points from just a week ago in San Diego when they did slow down.
That's right.
Baker, 3 yards, 2nd and 7. So often this drive, we've seen 2 backs in the backfield, and we see it once more. Offset eye behind Dunhill, 8 men of the box for the Predator defense. Dunhill under pressure, uncorks it. Stephen Hacker lays out to haul that one in with his outstretched arm. And that is our nice hands catch of the game, brought to you by Retroid. Put a Retroid handheld in your hands and play the only video game with your player in it, SFL 4K23.
You're not going to see a catch much better than that this entire year. Sam Blotner absolutely puts his entire body into Hacker's chest, but Hacker stabs it with one hand, brings it into his chest before he can take the contact.
Dunhill back to throw, pressure from up the middle, but he just checks it down and wisely does so. It's a 1st down reception for E.J. Minson.
Yeah, Minson really is Dunhill's 2nd favorite target. Hacker gets a bunch of the flashy plays, but Minson is an outstanding receiver, especially underneath and in the middle. And you can see right there, he had to come back for it. He's laid down, but talented receiver.
Now the Toros come out with 2 wide receivers. Robert Garrett Jr., the Cowboy, lines up at his tight end. Here comes Bacon after getting a great block from the Cowboy. Gets Bacon 8 yards.
Robert Garrett Jr. could be such a safety blanket for Marcus Dunhill or whoever is piloting the Toros offense. And you can see right there, he's also an incredibly accomplished blocker in space. He was the difference maker on that carry.
Don't forget Aaron Alexander also helping out as well. A beautiful hole for Bacon. Sets up this 2nd and short opportunity. Three minutes and 30 seconds and counting now here in the 1st quarter. Handoff, nothing doing. Charlie Baker is greeted heavily by Matt Ryan. No gain.
Yeah, Matt Ryan hit that hole really, really hard. You could see that upfront blocking was actually really great, but Matt Ryan just saw where Baker was going to go and filled that hole immediately.
Another 3rd down, only the 2nd one on this drive. Now the Toros have had to face this play number 9 of this drive. 9 defenders stacking the line for Charleston. It'll be another run. Near side, Bacon out of one. Can he get farther? No! Stood up at the line, they say. Another clutch tackle. This one coming by Sam Blotner.
Yeah, Jay-Z Bacon had an opportunity here. He shedded that one tackle, but Sam Blotner back there with a great wrap-up tackle to keep him from getting any further. We're going to see Amelia Rose with an attempt here.
9 of 10 on the season, make that 10 of 11 for Rose. It's the first double-digit drive of the game, 10 plays, a little over 50 yards, and the Toros take a 10-7 lead. If you're new to the Simulation Football League, welcome. The SFL is football for everyone. Get off the sideline and start your player today by joining our Discord server at simulationfl.net. Click the Join the Community button and begin your career, or just to meet the stars of the SFL on and off the field. It's never too late to get involved. Honest Adobe takes a kneel down to the end zone, and so the Charleston's Predators' second drive of the ball game will start at their own 20-yard line.
I'll be interested to see how aggressive Charleston is. We saw the Toros kind of slow it down and spread out the balance a bit, and it resulted in just a field goal. So we'll see if the Charleston Predators are more aggressive.
Lakeman's first pass is caught at the 43 and still going to the 45-yard line. Xavier Solomon is having himself a corner.
Well, that was a quick answer to my question, huh? Xavier Solomon gets open in the middle. He's having a huge game so far. 3 catches, 53 yards. None bigger than this one, getting out to close to midfield. So already Charleston has answered the bell and said, hey, we're going to remain aggressive here. Let's stay on top of the Toros. They're on the road. It makes sense to be a little more aggressive.
Solomon at 138 yards last week versus Houston, looking for more of the same this week. Pass middle, caught again. Somehow getting open was Davius Reed, just completely burning his coverage man.
Yeah, it actually looked like someone maybe fell down in the secondary. And I'll have to take a look at, he just kind of slipped and maybe tried to lay out for it. That was just not great coverage there by Ben Stone in space. Instead, it just a perfect pass out there to Reed. Got the first down.
Lakeman under a 4-man rush, backs up even further, looking for a floater. Cannot get it. Hits off the helmet of J.L. Browning. As we introduce you to the Toro defense, Jeff Duffy, Jared Egan, Luther Gahn, and Judd Nevels are the defensive linemen, with J.L. Browning, Sonny Sky, and E.K. Vincent at linebacker. Remington James, Aiden Davis, Adam Leach, and Tobias Gordon are the corners, with Delaney Nash and Ben Stone at safety. Quick drop, Lakeman left side. It is caught for a gain of 7 to Benjamin Warner.
This is a top half of the league running team in terms of handoffs and yards, and we have just seen not a lot of activity from this backfield. It's been all John Lakeman in these receivers so far.
7 of 8 now, looking for another pass. Looking deep, middle, it is one-handed catch! J.L. Browning takes it away! And that's the turnover bug that has struck John Lakeman all season long. But it has to be said, that doesn't happen without J.L. Browning having an incredible catch.
That was an outstanding individual effort, obviously, by J.L. Browning. What a left hand. I mean, he is not naturally a southpaw. That was an excellent catch to turn this ball over. Like you said, Lakeman has had the interception bug all season. And, my next point after saying, hey, they've only had one handoff is saying, hey, their formula for success has been balance. And I wondered how long it was going to take for this Toros secondary to start making plays. Instead, it was a linebacker, huge turnover.
19th interception on the season for John Lakeman, as the Toros will take over on their own 13-yard line. They'll start with a run to Bacon, right side, but this defense, which has come alive in this 4-game win streak, partner, that's what they're able to do. Even when Lakeman's been struggling, this defense has kept them in these last 4 games.
Yeah, it's not a formula for long-term success. I will say that Lakeman's got to clean that up and get better. But you're right, Charleston's defense has really bailed them out of some tough situations.
Hacker goes in motion from near side to far side, and blitz coming!
Woo!
Dunhill doesn't see him, and he goes down like a sack of potatoes!
Khalil Thomas, that is his first sack of the season by my notes, and that's a big one. Knocking Dunhill on his butt for about a 5-yard loss. So big 3rd and long here. Charleston's defense coming to play after seeing Lakeman turn the ball over.
His 5th TFL of the season is his first sack, and it's a draw as Bacon just does enough, nearly gains the first down, but when you're backed up that far close to your goal line, that's probably the safest play.
Yeah, it was a good play call, and Bacon is talented enough that maybe if he makes a move, he gets the first down. So it wasn't a total give-up play, but the smartest play they could have made in the moment.
That'll bring us to the end of the quarter. Fort Worth 10, Charleston 7 after 1. We come back quarter number 2 and more football from the Stockyards. This is the SFL. Welcome back to Fort Worth, Texas and the Stockyards. I'm Tyler Falk, joined in the booth by John Warren. Special thanks to Andrew Gibson and Jacob Clear in the stats truck. And of course, we'll hear more from SFL headquarters, courtesy of SFL Commissioner Cameron Irvine, from updates from Atlanta between the Swarm and the Florida Storm, as the return gets all the way up to the 49-yard line for Charleston. Good return from Ian Francis. It's been a pretty fast-moving first quarter. Lots of passing.
A lot of passing. I expect Storm, Hoagland, Sutherland, Taylor Wright, I expect them to get some action here. Maybe balance out a little bit. Lakeman has shown he cannot be responsible for most of the offense that Charleston has.
The clouds now cloud the vision of the sky, of the sun. Beautiful atmosphere here in Texas. It's starting to feel a little bit nicer, starting to feel a little bit more like spring as Hoagland gets a carry for 4.
Oh yeah, the trees are blossoming. It's staying lighter later. It's good feeling.
Well, the thing is, nothing really blossoms down in Texas. They just turns green for about a month or so, and then it just turns brown. I should know. I lived there for a few years. Hand off Hoagland, meanwhile, gains another 4 yards. Or check that, excuse me. Saren Storm gets his first carry of the game.
Yeah, you have to go to the Arboretum there to really see the blooms. That's about it.
East Texas looks a lot nicer.
That's true.
A couple of national forests out there. Such a pretty side of the state. Lakeman now to throw on 3rd down, looking middle.
Oh,
another amazing interception. Delaney Nash doubles the Toros interception total, and now Lakeman has 20 on the season.
Oh man, this is just Delaney Nash almost disappearing here behind that crowded line. I don't think Lakeman ever saw him. Great play to just jump up and grab it out of midair. Falls to the ground. Toro is back in business with much better field position now than they had after the last interception.
I really don't think you can blame Lakeman too much. It's just been 2 spectacular defensive plays from Nash and Browning that have just halted the Charleston advance. But will the Toros be able to take advantage? They weren't on the last drive. Bacon, meanwhile, gains 5 yards to start off the drive here this time around.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the Toros game plan around creating these turnovers. And what kind of offensive drive are they following by that? The last time they didn't get a lot, they got sacked and lost some yardage, and now they're being a little more aggressive because they've got better field position.
And Charleston haven't allowed more than 20 points since week 3 versus Arizona, so this defense has been tough to play against. These last 5 games, winning 4 in a row, losing 1 to Motor City before that, but Charlie Baker gets a good gain here for the Toros, looking to change fortunes for themselves and get back on the win train. It'll be 3rd and short.
You know, a lot of this Toros team was around for last season where they went undefeated during the regular season, and you know, it shows kind of what they're going to do to deal with adversity, having dropped the last game and a couple games before that. Be interesting to see.
Bacon gets 2 yards. All the yards he needed to move the sticks.
I think actually wearing out this Charleston defense is probably the play. Keep them on the field for a long time, get those first downs, convert on 3rd down. That could be the backbreaker that makes the difference.
Defense shifts on 1st down. They send 6. Dunhill left side, cut. Mitson on the run. Gets out of a tackle before being blasted at the 36.
Great microcosm of E.J. Minson's toughness here. He's tough in the middle, but he's also tough in space, breaking that tackle and taking a big hit there at the end from Sam Blotner.
Mark him down at the 37. Officially, it'll be 1st and 10 here for Fort Worth. Last drive ended in a punt. This one looking for better results here. Bacon out of a tackle, looking to stretch it left side, and he's taken down by his ankles by Gino McFly, but it's another 1st down for Fort Worth.
The game in the first, so you could start to see a lot of these plays are resulting in a missed tackle. Minson broke one, Bacon broke one. That was a generous spot, by the way. We'll see if they challenge it. I doubt that they will. But that, you know, you're starting to see this Preds defense maybe get a little bit fatigued because they've been on the field a lot in this quarter.
J.W. Hartshorn keeps the red hanky in his pocket for now, head coach of the Charleston Predators. As Kate Stevens goes in motion, Dunhill be back to throw, looking over the middle and into a cloud of light blue and white, not navy. And the ball mercifully falls to the turf.
I was going to say that the far side of the field was awfully soft with coverage. I'm surprised Dunhill didn't call an audible, do a hot route, send someone out to that far side on some sort of out route, because he had a lot of room there, but instead threw to a very congested area.
Coverage backs off about
really
10
soft.
Yards.
Wow.
On the outside. Run Bacon on left side, but a great tackle from Charleston's defense, and it brings up 3rd down.
Blotner has been everywhere on this game, trying to run up the tackle rankings on his own team. He's behind Stamango and Jack Brown in that category.
Blotner already was 7.
Yeah.
Here tonight. Dunhill rolling, looking to spread some time, and he gets off and takes off.
Woo.
A shimmy shake for Dunhill, and it's a 1st down for the Toros. A nifty little move and great awareness of the collapsing pocket from the quarterback.
I know spring training is in session for baseball, but there's no sliding for Marcus Dunhill. That was maybe a dangerous play, but that shimmy shake bought him enough time to get another 1.5 yards in the 1st down.
Now from the 15-yard line, another lengthy drive being manufactured here for the Toros. Play number 9, handoff Dunhill through the middle. He is stopped by Blotner after a pickup of 7.
J.Z. Bacon having an efficient game, though. That's 52 yards on 12 carries, averaging almost 4.5 yards a carry. So really impressive game so far for him.
Another run. This time it's a pitch play. Charlie Baker looking to stretch it, and Blotner's there again. Only a couple yards, and Blotner zooms on over to take down Charlie.
Yeah, don't touch that dial. That was not a replay of that earlier run from Baker that looked almost exactly the same. He has an edge trying to get outside, but Blotner just so good at closing space with a ball carrier and makes the tackle.
And off middle, Bacon with a blocker in front of him, and he's denied by Blutner. No! Touchdown, Toros! Bacon crossed the plane, and he'll be sizzling in the end zone as the Toros take a 2-score lead.
Oh, I'd love to see that from a reverse angle of the goal line. That was an unbelievable run from Jay-Z Bacon. Great blocking to get a little bit downfield. But yeah, Charleston's going to challenge that because I think Blotner actually stood him up. We'll see on the replay, though.
Hartshorn throws the challenge flag, and so we will take a retroactive look at the touchdown, brought to you by Retroid. Get your SFL console at goretroid.com as under the hood we go. Well, that was tough. If Blotner did save a touchdown, it would be his 10th tackle of the night.
And it is his 10th tackle. Give it to him. What a play.
Stopped a half yard shy of the line. And so Charleston's defense stays on the field, and the Toros will have to try and punch it in again. This time it's 1st and goal from about the laces of the football field.
That's about as close as you could get. That spot is, look at that spot. That is unbelievable. There's a half inch of daylight between the front of that football and the goal line. Let's see if they can punch it in.
Blotner now going man-to-man over on the tight end on the far side. It's a quick throw, pass middle, caught, touchdown, wow. Robert Garrett Jr. The Cowboys scores, and it is a touchdown for Fort Worth.
What a play call. I would have bet my entire week's paycheck that was going to Jay-Z Bacon to try to finish the job, but instead, I think Charleston also assumed that coverage not ready for that route from Robert Garrett Jr. in the middle, and the Toros, unfazed by the reversal, punch it in for the touchdown.
3rd touchdown on the season for Robert Garrett Jr. Marcus Dunhill's 13th. Did he make that the 14th now with 2 touchdown passes on the day? And it's Fort Worth 17, Charleston 7 after a lengthy 4-minute plus drive. Liking the game so far? Smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. The SFL produces over 400 events a year. There is no one else that gives you more football. Don't miss a minute of SFLM or SFL action and help the channel grow through your support. Ian Francis gets turned inside out.
Special teamer Corey Bradford laying the lumber on Ian Francis. That was a brutal hit.
Wow. Wanted to take him out of the picture. That last hit. Charleston start the next drive on their 31-yard line. Now down by 10. It's been 2 interceptions that have not gone the way for Charleston that John Lakeman is going to have to recover from. Let's go back to the air. Quick hitter underneath, caught by Adobe. And Adobe will keep his feet going for a gain of 5, wrestling with the linebacker.
I'm a little bit shocked that we have not seen another carry from Hoagland or Storm in this game. Even Terrell Sutherland has been an important part in certain games for Charleston, kind of spread the ball out, but still, Lakeman is passing the ball.
12 passes to only 3 runs. I think this is the 4th run. Pitch play. Hoagland gets a block. Still going is Hoagland. First down to the 44-yard line.
And I think that's what they need. I think they need to do kind of what the Toros have done, slow it down a little bit, try to, not necessarily convert, not get 15 yards on first down, just get 7, get 5, get 4, and then convert on 2nd or 3rd down, keep Toros on the field for longer, because I know Charleston's defense is gassed. They've absolutely been killed by time of possession here in the 2nd quarter.
Back to pass. Fort Worth send the blitz, and that one's more a routine interception. Adam Leach going the other way. Gets it to near the 40-yard line. Leach was running stride for stride with the wide receiver. It's now a hat trick of interceptions for Lakeman.
I apologize for putting too neat of a on the nose button here, but you can't win the game if you keep giving the other team the ball. That's 3 interceptions in the first half. I will give you what you said earlier, that maybe those first 2 interceptions, that was just unreal individual effort by the Toros players. That was a terrible decision by John Lakeman to throw that ball, double coverage, routine, and now the Toros are in business on Charleston's side of the field.
Another drive for the Toros that starts on the Charleston side of midfield. Robert Garrett Jr. in as a fullback here on this play as it's a handoff for Bacon, and Bacon gets all the way up to the 35-yard line, a gain of 6.
Charleston's defense has got to be tired. Sam Blotner might have 30 tackles by the end of this game if the time of possession is going to be this lopsided.
Corners playing tight on the near sideline. Opposite of the strong eye, now being turned into a weak eye. Dunhill flips it out near side. Baker running through the tackle and picking up the first down. We usually see Bacon with the power. This time Baker bakes a cake and pounds it home.
Yeah, we've seen Baker try to cut to the outside and actually get caught a couple times from behind. This time he just goes right through and gets about an extra 3-4 yards on that play.
Dunhill, middle, caught. Hacker with room to run. Gets a block from Robert Garrett Jr., and he will just walk alone into the end zone. Touchdown, Toros.
Yeah, that was almost a natural screen the way that play was set up. Stephen Hacker catches the ball. Another receiver there to basically set a screen, and it was perfectly executed. Totally legal play. Yeah, Robert Garrett Jr. just stopping to block 2 players to prevent them from catching Stephen Hacker. Stephen Hacker waltzes into the end zone for his 2nd touchdown of the game.
Now, for the first time since week 3, the Charleston defense has now let up more than 20 points a game.
2.5 minutes to go in the first quarter and first half too. So big reversal.
Snap spot kick is up, and it is now a 3-score lead for the Toros with 2:35 to go here in the half, and things are unraveling quickly for Charleston. They need something to go their way, a change of direction, maybe a bit more composure from the quarterback. But right now, as things are progressing, the Toros look to be in firm command of this one.
Well, you've got a backfield that is pretty good, top half of the league in efficiency and yardage, and they just haven't touched the ball much.
There's the return from Francis up to the 29-yard line. So out comes John Lakeman and company for the Charleston Predators. And they're still looking to put points on the board since their first drive of the ball game. Maybe need to rekindle some of that magic.
Yeah, the tough part of this is that now they're behind. It's still early in the game, but now they're behind by a factor that makes it a little bit harder to say, okay, yeah, let's slow it down and run the ball. They're going to feel like they need to urgently get downfield. I don't know if that's the right call yet. Still the second quarter. Lakeman should calm down and get the running game going.
And they do start off with a run. Hoagland right side for 3 yards. Charleston run game out middle of the pack, averaging about 111 yards a game on the ground. Far cry from that here tonight so far, but there's still plenty of football left to be played. Little out route right side is caught. E.K. Vincent takes down Xavier Solomon as we hit the 2-minute warning. 24-7. Toros enjoying some good old home cooking here at the Stockyards. Still plenty of football left to go. 2-minute warning here in the first half. Third down upcoming now here for the Predator offense. From their own 33-yard line. Via play action. Blitz coming. Lakeman middle overthrows his intended receiver. looking for Benjamin Warner. And it will bring up a punting situation, so there is something. They don't give the ball away directly this time around, John, but they do have to punt.
Do have to punt. I think this is the first punt of the game. That's pretty fun, you know. Deep into the first half. It's the first time we've seen a punter. We'll see if the Toros can make something out of this field position.
First punt for Charleston, second punt of the ball game. Did have a Fort Worth
that's
punt
right.
toward the end of the first quarter. As a fair catch will be called for by Cade Stevens, and that is where the Toros will take over with 1:50 to go, all 3 timeouts. Now it's a big decision time. Do they try and keep pouring it on with some more points, or they just try and milk as much clock as possible? This 2-back set has been working well for the Toros, and they put Robert Garrett Jr. again in at fullback. A little bit bigger and beefier man to try and block. He gets a block, but he forgets about the man trying to get forward in front of him. And Jack Brown is able to take down the ball carrier after only a gain of 1.
The smart play here is to be conservative, run this out, be happy to go up, be up by by a few scores heading into the half, but I'd probably pour it on. That's just me.
Banking with a spin moves, gains maybe an extra or 2 yards for a gain of total of 4. And this will bring up third down as the clock will roll. No urgency at the moment, just willing to take their time as Dunhill and company. They need 5 here. Charleston send 5. Pass middle, caught Hacker at the 40, and dragging Ben Stone with them to the 46.
Yeah, I was going to say, it kind of depends on if they get this first down, then it might kind of impact what they do if they spin those timeouts, if they get a little more aggressive. And now it seems that, yes, as we see Stephen Hacker with 113 receiving yards, what a game he's having. I expect Dunhill to now air this out, at least try to get into field goal range.
Been a great day for Dunhill. 7 of 8 passing with 3 touchdowns. He looks over the middle. Double coverage. Hacker can't hold on to it as he was hit as the ball was arriving by Mark Martin.
Yeah, it's a big hit by Mark Martin to dislodge that. Hacker probably could have held on to that, but that would have been a really tough catch. Yeah, you set the bar high with that left-hander earlier in the game. It's tough to adjust.
Right now they're enjoying a cushion, so really can be more methodical and think more about the fundamentals. So let's see what Dunhill does here. Pass middle broken up. A beautiful leap up in the air, denying the pass. Great play from the defensive lineman.
Dan Dash, the leading sacker on this Predators team, just tipped that up in the air, almost tipped it to himself. Good play by Dan Dash.
He dashed into the backfield, didn't he?
He did.
That brings up third down with 53 seconds to go. Heavy blitz coming. Pass near side. Caught by Stevens. Gets out of a tackle and still going down the sideline and stepping out of bounds with a 26-yard line. Another tightly contested football at the point of reception, but it's the individual effort of these wide receivers that have just made the difference tonight.
I was going to say, they've mostly gone the Toros' way because of that individual effort, just fighting for these close balls. And yeah, that's been the big difference maker. The coverage has really not been bad. I mean, Charleston's defense, as you've said a few times, has been pretty clutch over the past few games. And it's just the Toros converting, saying, okay, these 50-50 plays, we're going to make all of them.
3 straight completions now for Dunhill. Looks to pass again. Heavy pressure coming. It's caught at the 11-yard line. E.J. Minson stretches out his arms, and there's a football, and it's 1st and goal, Toros.
And Dunhill hung in there. He was about to get absolutely nailed in the backfield. Hung in there, stepped into the pocket, delivered a perfect pass. And that stat line is just ridiculous. 192 yards, 3 touchdowns, but the efficiency is really what is important for Marcus Dunhill to get this Toros team into such a rhythm.
Shotgun snaps over the middle, incomplete. Looking for Minson again. Back to Dunhill, avoiding the pressure, just a play ago. It just goes to show you he hasn't lost any of that mojo from him being named the season 14 MVP when he led Atlanta to the championship and taking home the SFL championship way back when. Three wide and a tight end. Dunhill underneath, caught, Hacker turning around, spinning and out of bounds at the 5-yard line. Couldn't shake the last defender, but gets out of bounds, saving the Toros' final timeout.
Yeah, heads up play by Stephen Hacker, realizing that he probably wasn't going to break that tackle, gets out of bounds. Also, give it up for that Toros offensive line. Predators brought the pressure. They have sacked Dunhill earlier in this game. They picked it up and gave Dunhill enough time.
Coverage backing well off on the far wide receivers. Dunhill looking, end zone, and that was a risky throw into triple coverage, and the defense holds firm in the final stanza of this half.
Yeah, when your receivers are making just ridiculous plays all over the place, you think, okay, that's a heat check. That right there was a heat check. I'm going to throw into triple coverage, see if Hacker can get it. The bonkers thing is that he almost did. He almost could have come away with that ball, but that was not the best decision from Dunhill. But, no worse than the wears. 4th and goal, really makeable field goal coming up for Amelia Rose. We'll see if she converts and makes it 11 of 12 on the season.
It's hit from 47. The snap is down, kick is up, and it sails through the uprights. Another field goal for the Toros here on this long season. And it's now 27-7. 25 seconds to go here in the first half. Charleston down by 20. They'll need any sort of momentum to help them spur on to greater heights here in the second half. And it starts with an Ian Francis return, who gets stood up behind his own blocker at the 25-yard line. That is where the Predators will take over with 20 seconds to go. They have all 3 timeouts, but they will get the ball to start the second half here, John, so I would not be surprised if they give it to Hoagland one final time before closing out the half.
Oh, I would be shocked if they didn't do that. I think they should not try to force something here. Obviously, if Lakeman turns it over on this side of the field, they could be risking more points being put on the board before the half. So, yeah, I would hand this off knowing that you're going to get the ball at the beginning of the second half and kind of regroup.
High formation here for Lakeman, who's under center. Lakeman will go back to the air. Pressure coming. Gets rid of it. Caught on the run at the 36-yard line as Warner gets it up for a gain of 15. No timeout called.
I'll get it.
This will more likely take us to the end of the half.
I just don't get it. You take a risk like that. You don't burn your timeouts to try to get into. I mean, they're hurrying up to the line here. Are they going to try to snap this ball? They're going to call a timeout. Wow.
They will call a timeout with 3 seconds to go. And so here comes a Hail Mary attempt, and we'll see that maybe they get something to go. Maybe they get this Hail Mary partner, and then we're talking about a whole different ball game.
Hey, I've seen some really wild plays in the SFL, so nothing would surprise me too much. So see if Lakeman's got the arm strength to get this far enough downfield.
3-man rush. Lakeman launches it. It is caught at the 30-yard line. Taken down as Warner. But the clock reaches triple zeros. And so it is a nice catch, a nice throw from Lakeman. That's some positivity going into the locker room at half, but some adjustments will need to be made if they want to come back in this one, because right now they find themselves down by 20. It's 27-7. Toros here in the Stockyards at home, enjoying life at the moment. All right, John, let's go ahead and break down this half. And it's really been a tale of 2 quarters. That first quarter, high-flying, Both teams go with an opening score, but then the second quarter happens.
Yeah, the second quarter happens, and it's a return to the first 4 games of the Charleston Predators season. Just Lakeman still turning the ball over. He's turned the ball over even in their wins, but you alluded to the fact that their defense has been able to keep things close enough that the Predators have been able to make enough offensive plays to win these games. Now they find themselves down by three scores going into the second half, and they cannot turn the ball over. They had 3 interceptions in the first. Their defense was not able to contain these receivers for the Toros. Stephen Hacker is having a career day, and Charleston's got to tighten this up. Maybe run the ball a little bit more in the second half, try to control time of possession. They are going to get the ball first, but I've been really impressed with Dunhill and the efficiency of this Toros offense.
And so we welcome you back here to Fort Worth, Texas in the Stockyards. I'm Tyler Falk, joined in the booth by John Ward. And again, a special thanks to Andrew Gibson and Jacob Clear of the Stats Truck. And, of course, monitoring everything from SFL headquarters is SFL Commissioner Cameron Irvine, as we are back and underway here to begin half number 2, as here comes the return from Hannes Adobe, streaking through the middle and still going and fending off defenders all the way to the 35-yard line. And speaking of Cameron Irvine, we got an update from Atlanta. Cam, take it away.
Thank you, Tyler. We got an incredible double dip. First, former defensive lineman Billy Ray Valentine jumps the screen, gets the interception. Then, not shown, Florida's defensive tackle forces a fumble on Bryant Dynasty. And then on the next possession, it's another former defensive lineman, Chris Porter, who's on the line right now. He drops back in coverage, and he gets a one-handed interception. Defensive line making amazing plays. 7-7 in the second quarter. Back to you.
What can I say, Cam? Big men, big plays, and it works out to perfection there for the Swarm. Still a tie ball game there. Lakeman now on Corkson, and it is caught at the logo. And Xavier Solomon continues his solid performance. Haven't called his name since the first quarter.
Well, he's really been the offensive skill player bright spot, though, for this Preds offense. He's had the lion's share of targets and yards. And, you know, they need to get Davius Reed, Benjamin Warner. They need to get these players in. Honus Adobe has really been the only wide receiver target that I believe has had multiple catches. And that has to change here in the second half.
Blitz coming. Lakeman under pressure, looking near sideline for Davius Reed. What a great defense from Adam Leach. Denies the pass.
Really, really good defense by Adam Leach there.
That'll bring up 2nd and 10 from just on the other side of midfield. High formation here for Lakeman. Warner, the man in motion, quickly and closely monitored by Aiden Davis. As Lakeman will go back to pass. 5-man rush. Lakeman trying to fire off his back foot. He's hit as he released it, and the ball just tumbles out of his hands.
Jerry DeGon just scoops up John Lakeman and dumps him to the ground. He's really lucky that was a duck into space and not into the hands of a Fort Worth Toros defensive player.
3rd and long here for the Predators. Lakeman rolling again, pumping, but he couldn't get rid of it. And he's brought down from behind by Jerry DeGon.
Jerry was upset that he didn't get that last one, and thanking John Lakeman for actually holding on to this one so he could get the sack. He had 8 sacks last season. That is 4.5 on the season this year so far. He's having a tremendous year. And we're going to have another punt for Charleston. Not a good start to the second half for this offense.
31st career sack for Gond. As the punt is away from Eric Blueberry. This will be elected to be returned. And Stevens breaks out of a couple tackles, but is eventually brought down by Keith Brooking. And that is where the Toros will have their opening possession of the second half.
And this is really flipped. We're seeing the stats on the screen now. I mean, this was a pretty even yardage matchup after the first quarter, and that second quarter was just all Fort Worth Toros. Controlled time of possession, controlled both sides of the ball expertly. And if the Toros can dominate like they did in the second quarter, this is going to be a dangerous team down the stretch.
Predators defense now creeping up closer to the line. Possibly expecting a run. Dunhill will hand it off, but Bacon gets a great hole, and he just speeds through the offensive line. A gain of 11.
And that's just confidence. I mean, you're absolutely right. They stacked the box. They brought some defenders in. Toros picked up hat on a hat. Just absolutely wonderful blocking to get Jay-Z Bacon into that second level. He gets the first down.
So a good play to begin the drive sets up the Toros at their 36-yard line. Offset eye behind Dunhill. Stretch play being turned back inside by Charlie Baker. And Baker is brought down by Jack Brown from behind.
And the problem with this time of possession game is that Charleston's defense, again, is just gassed. I mean, they've had a pretty good season, and in this 4-game win streak, they've been impressive, but when you can't get off the field, it's awfully tough to stop the run, and it's easier to let passes get behind you.
Bacon gets the call, and there's a little bit of backbone from Charleston's defense. Solid tackle made there, setting up third down.
I couldn't tell if that was Adam Nold or John Semango, but it was a good tackle to prevent the first down.
And third downs really have been a point of emphasis coming into today's game. Toros 6 of 9. Currently, Dunhill rolling and running, and he's got another first down. Oh my goodness! He got the first down, but he paid for it.
Yeah, Jack Brown hitting him with what looked like an Arn Anderson spine buster there. That was a really, really, really rough landing. Dangerous decision for Marcus Dunhill, but we saw that earlier in the game too. No guts, no glory, no slide. Dunhill gets the first down and keeps this clock rolling, keeps his drive going.
He does that again. We'll probably see Dave Ragone or Tommy Maddox coming to replace him after he gets hurt, as Bacon gains 5 more yards for the Toros offense. 2nd and 5.
Bacon a little slow to get up there. He got hit pretty hard at the end of that play, but he did break a tackle somewhere in that pile. But this is just ball control. This is just playing keep away from Charleston, and Toros are executing the game plan perfectly.
It's looking to be like a similar scoreline from the quarterfinals just a season ago. The Toros won 35-6. As Baker gets the call here, nothing doing as he's taken down by Matt Ryan. Toros have a 3-game winning streak on the Charleston Preds, and another third down here for the Toros meanwhile. Reminded that I was the punter playing quarterback. Came downhill. Charleston send the house, and Forrest Dalton gets home.
Wow, the Preds say, no, we're done with this. We're going to send the house, change this narrative a little bit, force a punt. That was a brilliant play call to say, all right, we got to stop this bleeding, get the ball back, try to get something happening. And that was a perfect play call at the perfect time. And now John Lakeman will get a chance to drive downfield.
Second sack of the season for Forrest Dalton. And it'll be a punt that goes Charleston's way as the ball will just mosey on back into the end zone down for a touchback. The 2024 SFL convention is headed to South Shore Harbor Resort in League City, Texas, just south of Houston, July 12th through the 14th. Featuring live games, flag football, a golf tournament, tailgate, pool party, and more. For all the convention details, visit simulationfl.net/news/convention to reserve your room, see the event schedule, and more. How will the Predators stake a comeback claim in this one? It might start now. Lakeman, deep drop, over the middle, Cop JL Browning. That's not the way to start it. In fact, that's the exact opposite the way to start it. 4th interception thrown by Lakeman.
You know, that one JL is having a great game, and it's JL Browning. That's the 2nd interception. Not as spectacular as that first one-handed stab down at the other end of the field, but great coverage nonetheless from a really talented linebacker, normally known for his run-stopping prowess, but 2 interceptions brings his total to 3 for the year. And John Lakeman, that's 4 interceptions. This is tough to watch.
It is the 4th game this season which Lakeman has thrown 4 or more interceptions. Other than that, he's only thrown 1 in every other game other than those 4 mentioned. And unfortunately, it might cost him here today.
It's tough. It is just tough to win when you don't keep your offense on the field and give your offense a chance to drive and score. And I think half these interceptions have been just ridiculous individual effort from the Toros, and the other half was 2 really bad decisions. And we're seeing how that is impacting everything.
No.
Oh, no.
And just insult to injury, unfortunately, no pun intended. Their stalwart middle linebacker, Jack Brown, is hurt. Can anything else go wrong for the Predators at this point? It's been such an unfortunate day for the Predators. Such a feel-good story coming into this game, and there's so many positives to take from the season. They've had to come back from an 0-4 start, but today it's just not gone the Predators' way.
I think the only way this could get worse is if they're booked on a Boeing 737 going home back to the East Coast.
Oh my gosh. Run there on 3rd down. That's a positive sign. Matt Ryan with the stop on 3rd down brings up 4th and 1 here for the Toros. And the good news is they will hop out on a plane after this game, head back home to face Queen City.
Yep.
Next week.
Could be what they need.
Very well could be. That will actually be their final home game of the season as Amelia Rose hits the field goal 30-7 here in this one.
Well, Amelia Rose is just an outstanding field goal kicker, and you can really see, I mean, it doesn't, you get past about the 35-yard line, she's pretty automatic. And they're up by 23 now, the Toros are, and this has just been a very one-sided contest outside that first quarter.
Here comes a return. Every hope springs eternal on each possession, but Toby fumbles the football, but it's picked up by Ian Francis, and Francis will gain a few more yards up to the 29-yard line. A lucky break and a much-needed break for Charleston.
Yeah, that's going to be good tape, though, on Monday for Ian Francis and his team to see, okay, he's not giving up on these plays, scoops up that ball. That could have been an absolute disaster for the Predators. Instead, he turns it into a positive. Lakeman's got pretty good field position here at about the 30, but he cannot turn this ball over. He's got to calm down, make some better reads, better throws, try to get Davius Reed or Benjamin Warner in space and make something happen.
It'll start with going back to the air. Lakeman under pressure. It's tipped up in the air. To begin matters on this drive, Delaney Nash, nearly another spectacular interception. And it's just been one of those days for Lakeman. These Toros have been just reading his eyes and reading each and every play fairly well after the first drive. It brings up 2nd and 10. Or 3 look out of Fort Worth as the Predators line up and an offset eye. Lakeman left side, caught on the run. Here goes Charleston. Davius Reed down the sideline. Delaney Nash gives chase and pushes him out at the 21.
What a play by Davius Reed. Right on cue. Said he needed to get something going. That was a little too aggressive there. That was Aiden Davis again, one of the more aggressive corners in the league, trying to jump that route. Could not get it to go. Davius Reed making a huge play for John Lakeman. Maybe that gives them the boost of confidence they need to start making some more plays, get their more skill players involved. And this should at least result in a field goal.
Blitz coming. Lakeman having to roll out of the pocket and firing over the middle, and a great deflection by Adam Leach. Again finds himself in the passing lane.
I am holding my breath on every single one of these releases from John Lakeman. Some of these passes are just, you're talking about 50-50 balls on the other side. Marcus Dunhill seems to be hitting all of his. Lakeman, it seems to be the opposite for him in this game.
Lakeman, middle, nearly hauled in for Xavier Solomon, but another bone-jarring hit denies the completion, and it brings up third down. Four wide receivers on the field here for the Predators. Toros back all the way up to the line to gain. Lakeman will throw again. Looking, middle, bit too far.
Flag.
Looking for Davius Reed, but there's a flag. It's pass interference on the Toros. First and goal at the 1.
Toros bailing out Lakeman and the Predators here. Let's see the replay. Yeah, I mean, I'd say so, but I would also maybe question if that ball was even catchable. But nonetheless, Adam Leach did get there early and bailed out the Preds.
And that's just a lapse in concentration from Leach. He's been so good at the passing lanes, but unable to do it. That's the first third down conversion of the game for Charleston.
And it comes with an asterisk, so.
Pass middle, that one won't come with any stipulation. Xavier Solomon, Charleston touchdown.
Xavier Solomon, undoubtedly the MVP of the Charleston Predators offense in this game. He's just been outstanding. Getting open, even in double coverage like that, just a really well-placed ball. Really, Xavier just had to put that right in his breadbasket, dump down to the ground. Big touchdown, because that puts the Predators in a position to possibly make a comeback here.
Snap spot, extra point is up and good from Brad Brechet. The Preds get double digits on the board. Had the score for the Charleston Preds stayed the same, partner, if they were unable to get more than 10 points, it would have been their 5th game in franchise history. They wouldn't be able to. That goes out the window. The comeback is on, perhaps, says Jacob in the stats truck. Where there's life, there's hope, and there's still plenty of life left in this game. As here comes a nice solid return from Lely. He's had a couple of those today, up to the 33 this time.
Touchdown makes it a two-possession game. Obviously two touchdowns, two-point conversions. It's obviously a stretch, but now that they're within that grasp, it just feels like Lakeman and the Predators here might have some life. That last drive, obviously the bailout from the Toros with that penalty was huge, but we also saw more skill players make more plays in that drive, and that's what has been the difference maker all season for the Predators, are these skill players making individual plays to help John Lakeman.
They'll start with the run, do the Toros, but Bacon, after finding so much room to run early in this ball game, can only find one on the first play of the drive. Bacon closing in on 100 yards in the ball game. 2nd and 9 here for the Toros. I formation handoff, and Baker is met in the backfield, but does well enough to fend off the tackler, John Stamango, just long enough for him to pick up 4 yards.
Yeah, Baker's actually had more success tonight, kind of running through people instead of running away from them. So still a nice tackle by Stamango, but a nice individual effort for Baker to get those extra yards.
3rd and 5. Dunhill with a 5-man rush, rolling right, firing across his body. It is incomplete. A very testy coverage assignment near side. No flag. Toros will punt.
I was going to say it was aggressive. There was a lot of contact there on that route, but the ref must have seen that it was going both ways. Also, it wasn't a great throw by Dunhill, but still, they're going to have to punt this away to Charleston.
So here comes the return. Nothing doing. Flag on the play. 2nd flag in the ball game, and it's going to be on the Toros again. Face mask. Is it intentional? It's incidental. I'll only give him 5.
Yeah, only 5, but that could have been a much bigger deal. It could have been a 15-yard personal foul. But the Toros still getting a little bit undisciplined, a little bit tight, I would say, in these past couple of drives in both directions. I thought that last offensive series was a little tight as compared to what we've seen in the past. And obviously the Predators were able to move the ball last time they had it. So let's see if Lakeman can continue that trend.
They moved the ball and got themselves a touchdown with a pass to Xavier Solomon. Down by 2 scores if they're able to convert on 2 2-point conversions. Handoff Hoagland, left side. Gains 3 yards. Ben Stone in amongst the tacklers. John, less than 12 to go, but right now momentum is slowly shifting in the Predators' favor.
Yeah, the one thing that could really just totally reverse it is, again, another turnover from this Charleston offense.
Handoff up the middle. Saren Storm with a gain of 4. Brings up 3rd and short now.
It's interesting that now we're starting to see Charleston run the ball a little bit. I think that was Saren Storm's first carry of the game, if my notes are correct. And yeah, this is an interesting time to start playing. I think that was Saren Storm's 2nd carry, excuse me, but not a lot of activity. Now suddenly some.
3rd and short, pass caught. Near the marker, they will say he did not get it. E.K. Vincent with the first down saving tackle. 4th and inches, down by 16 in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, he had to check that down and then also throw it a little bit behind the receiver. It was really the only place he could have put it. Not enough. It's just not a good place on the field to go for it. I agree with the call. They're going to punt, give it back to Dunhill and the Toros.
Fair catch called for by Stevens, and he hauls that in at the 22-yard line. Still a little over 10 minutes to go in regulation here from the Stockyards, a 16-point ball game. The Toros, meanwhile, in the last 2 drives, or last 3 of their drives, punt, field goal, punt, only have scored 3 points in this second half. They'll need to score more if they want to continue to keep Charleston at bay. We'll start with a run from Charlie Baker up the middle. He's eventually met by Geno McFly.
You know, the time of possession game was so lopsided so far. You know, Fort Worth might be thinking, I think we've done enough. I don't think we have to get tight here and worry about it so much.
Another run up the middle. J.Z. Bacon trying to hurdle multiple defenders. It's finally stopped. 3rd and 5 upcoming now for the Toros.
They don't have to snap this ball. It will be interesting if they do, though.
This could be the final play of the 3rd quarter. Indeed, Dunhill will hike it. Looking, middle, caught, Hacker. First down and more. Up to around the 40-yard line.
Stephen Hacker is just having a ridiculous game. He continues great. Again, 50-50 ball, point of contact. Keith Brooking cannot make that deflection. Stephen Hacker, huge game.
That brings the third quarter to the end. Get your fours up and chat as we pause for league rights, courtesy of Chris Curtis.
The Simulation Football League is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or account of the game without the express written consent of the league office is prohibited.
APM Music is unrivaled music to bring your stories to life, inspiring every production with the world's most robust and constantly refreshed music collection, state-of-the-art technology, and world-class customer service. APM Music is the official soundtrack of the Simulation Football League. To explore their library and to find the perfect tracks for your projects, visit apmmusic.com. As we welcome you back to the Stockyards, Tyler Falk and John Warren here on the call. Happy to have your company as the Toros have a 30-14 lead over the Charleston Predators. Jay-Z Bacon gets the first call out of the half, gains 4 yards.
Bacon is up above 100 yards now on the day. And maybe more importantly, his average is almost roughly a yard over his average. So having a very efficient game on the ground.
Dunhill will look to throw now. The pocket is
Oh my
impeccable. And he finds Robert Garrett Jr., who whoopsie-doos around his defender and picks up the first down. Let's talk about that offensive line that we just really haven't given them enough credit. Another great pocket created for Dunhill.
I mean, a watertight seal. They only send 4, but I mean, even with a 4-man rush, you normally don't see that kind of time. Brooking cannot make the tackle against Robert Garrett Jr., and you're starting to now see the absence of Jack Brown being a big deal. His replacement, Keith Brooking, just not able to make the plays that Jack Brown would be able to make if he was in the game.
And off left side, Bitkin gets a couple of blocks. Actually taken down after a gain of 7 by McFly and company.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like Jack Brown will return to this game. We might get an update, but he hasn't returned yet. And you're starting to see in the middle on these routes with the tight ends, it's just a big difference maker.
QB sneak, and Dunhill will slide this time, picking up the first down. The first time we've seen Dunhill do that, and he's done that a few times this season in similar situations, which continue to give defense fits.
So deflating, right? I mean, just followed his blockers, very straightforward play. Charleston not expecting it, gets the first down, slides.
And off Bacon. Minimal yardage gain as Stamango cleans up the ball carrier as the Toros look to move to 6-3 and continue to extend their advantage above that South Division.
Yeah, they are up at the top of that due to the tiebreaker they have against Houston. That's a tight division, though.
Bacon on the give for 7 yards. Houston unfortunately fell earlier this weekend to 5-4. The Toros would have a full game advantage over Houston, over Alamo City, and have a 2-game advantage over the resurgent Mexico City Aztecs, who are now sitting at 4-5 after the win earlier this weekend.
And the Toros play 2 of their last 3 games on the road, so having that cushion might be important.
Baker with the call, gets the first down as we go back to SFL headquarters for another game break.
Thank you, Tyler. Florida back on the comeback trail, down 17-7 late in the third quarter. Chris Comasac's going to get this 1-yard touchdown, and then BDG Hollywood just fumbled. Florida's got the ball down 3 late in the third. Back to you in Texas.
And they're just on the outside of the red zone as Bacon with the give. Spins around after getting hit and falls down just a half yard shy of the line to gain. And that's just so tough to defend when you're able to get your running back going, John. And it just goes to show you this Toros offense knows how to run the football.
They do. It's been a really impressive game for Jay-Z Bacon, and this team has just taken advantage of opportunities. They've seen that they're a little bit soft in the middle. They're protecting against those big gains on the outside that Stephen Hacker has had. Obviously, I've made mention a few times of Jack Brown being down for most of the second half, and that's been a big difference too. We've seen JZ Bacon's averages start to shoot up here, and it's not the right time to do that. And they're able to run out a lot of clock here.
And just as we say that, Matt Ryan takes down Baker down for a loss of 2, but Bacon will pick up the yards, and he'll go inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. First and goal, Toros.
Yeah, Bacon's got the hot hand, and it wouldn't surprise me if they really give him the lion's share of these carries down by the goal line. It's just where he is so effective. Although we've also seen these kind of short routes that Robert Garrett Jr. has been able to excel at here in the red zone.
First and goal, clock starting to become a factor here for the Predators. Any sort of score from the Toros now pretty much puts this game nigh out of reach. Pressure from the outside, pass, middle cut, Stephen Hacker. Touchdown Toros, a 3-score lead again as the Toros look to ride off into the sunset.
Hacker taking his 7 touchdowns for the season and pumping that number up to 10 by the end of this game. And we still have time left, so who knows what's in store. But Stephen Hacker is having an absolute monster game, has been really the primary momentum shifter for this Toros offense.
Speaking of having himself a game, Marcus Dunhill putting on a quarterback clinic. 13-19, 4 touchdowns, and 11.5 yards per pass. Marcus Dunhill in season 14 MVP form.
And no mistakes. I mean, Dunhill has just been outstanding. He's had a couple of errant throws, a couple of risky throws, but none of them have really come back to bite him. And that's wild to me. Oh, Nakai.
No.
Oh, come on. Late in the game.
She's had such a great game returning. Unfortunately, she'll be taken out of the remainder of this one. All started with a great return on the opening kickoff of the game to get the Toros off and running. We'll take no further part in this one as the Predators take over after the return, down by 23 points. Lakeman just decides to tuck it and run, and he's thrown backward after picking up a good chunk of 7 yards by Ben Stone.
Yeah, Ben Stone put him in the merry-go-round and threw him to the ground. It was a good decision, though, to tuck and run, I think. He didn't like anything he saw downfield. Decided to run it, got 7 on the play.
Now hit the halfway point in the fourth quarter. Toros looking to close this one out. Charleston has to get a move on. Pitch play right side, Hoagland. The run game was not as part of the game plan for a good chunk of the ball game. Now they're trying to get to it late on the ball game. Lakeman going to throw, overshoots it. And it's going to bring up 4th and 2 with 4:42 to go. Charleston has to go for it.
Yeah, you would think they at least have to show something, some signs of life here for their fans. Try to make something happen, get 2 yards, at least extend this drive.
3 wide receivers on 4th down. Lakeman looking right side, cut, Xavier Solomon. That's the first down the Predators needed, and they have to go right back to the huddle, right back to the line. 4:30 to go now here in the game. Lakeman, right side, triple coverage. Looking for Davius Raid, but Remington James says not today.
Yeah, and it's perplexing, like you alluded to, that they're really trying to make the run happen now. I think that time was probably in the second quarter when they started to get away from him and they needed to slow things down. Now it's just time for Lakeman to air it out and try to make something happen downfield.
Lakeman will have trips to his near side, to his left side. Lakeman just going to dump it off. It's going to be ruled a fumble, and diving on is Hoagland for a gain of 2. A little bit unorthodox. But it works just the same. Almost looks like a rugby play.
No, it's just how they drew it up. I bet. It's like, hey, I'm going to spike this ball about even to the line of scrimmage, and you're going to just catch it a couple yards downfield, and just like they drew it up.
I mean,
what a wild play.
If Charleston, you can't challenge it because you got forward progress out of it. If with the Toros, you go out there and challenge it and see if you can't get them to lose 2 yards.
I don't think
2
so.
Yards. So Charleston will get a free 2 yards. Pass right side as the 2 wide receivers collide, disrupting the pattern, and it brings up another 4th down.
Yeah, I mean, this offense just seems like it's in a little bit of disarray. They're not making adjustments the way I would expect them to, both kind of in real time and also at the half. And, these receivers are just not looking right. Xavier Solomon is really the only player that's contributed consistently in this game, and it shows on the scoreboard.
4th and 8. Here for Charleston. Last gasp potentially. It's another pass that Hoagland will not pick up, and it's a turnover after the fumble. Tobias Gordon hauls in the loose football. It worked once, doesn't work twice.
It's a disaster. I mean, it's just a disaster. You can't, it's like that first one seemed like and I don't know what Lakeman, I don't know what the communication between Lakeman and these receivers is just off. Hoagland needed to get upfield a little bit. That was too far behind in the flat. Just an odd series of events. Charleston not going to challenge it. I think they're just kind of waving the white flag at this point.
Well, the good news is for Lakeman, it's not his 5th interception in the ball game.
No, it's not. No, thankfully it's not.
Dunhill will look to pass here. Pass middle, caught inside the 15-yard line, and our first look of the ball game for James Jennings, the undrafted free agent rookie, picks up the reception.
First look in the game, first look of his career. By my notes, that's his first career reception, and it's a really nice play. Kind of backed into the defender, got hit hard. But that first catch of his career goes for 14 yards and a first down.
And after that throw, the Toros just going to look to milk this clock, John.
Yeah, absolutely. They have handily won this game. They've looked great on both sides, on every side of the ball, even special teams with Lily Nakai. Obviously, we hope she's okay. In the kicking game with Amelia Rose, obviously those contributors have been big too, but this Toros defense have created turnovers. Jay-Z Bacon has looked outstanding. We've already talked about how efficient and impressive Marcus Dunhill has been. Stephen Hacker, what can you say has been said about Stephen Hacker? He just had a ridiculous game, 144 yards on 7 catches, but 3 touchdowns is really the standout for me. And just a complete game by the Fort Worth Toros here to go 6-3 on the season as they milk this clock.
Marcus Dunhill, the quarterback, 4 total touchdowns, over 230 yards passing. 12 yards on the ground as he looks middle. It is bobbled. Looking for the Cowboy, Robert Garrett Jr. That's a rare drop. Garrett Jr. was wide open in the middle of the park.
He was. I think maybe he was so wide open he was surprised when the ball came his way, and it's normally a play they make. So, but they've got a huge lead here, so I guess it doesn't matter all that much.
Third and 5 from the 10-yard line here for the Toros. I'll just run it with Bacon as he tries to go through the middle, and he is stood up by Corey Menner after a gain of 3. So this defense, without the help of perennial linebacker Jack Brown, makes the stop. It will be a field goal here coming up for Amelia Rose. They will have to get it off before the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, and this will be their 4th attempt of the game. Chip shot. She should be able to make this in her sleep.
From 24 yards out, just inside the left hash. Snap spot. Kick is up, and it is good. 40-14. The Toros have a commanding lead here in the last minutes of this game in the Stockyards. Tomorrow night, Cameron Irvine and Mike O'Neill and the rest of the Monday Night Spectacular crew are back. First with SFL this week, taking you around the league in 60 minutes at 7:15 p.m. Eastern. Then at 8:15, the 4-3 San Diego Mavericks visit the 4-4 Seattle Nemesis in a critical battle of playoff hopefuls. Get a sneak peek at next week's schedule, and for everything else SFL, visit Simulationfl.net. Good little return here from Ian Francis down the sideline. He's got one man to beat, but he steps out of bounds at the 30-yard line.
Ian Francis, I don't know if he ran out of gas, ran out of steam, just kind of lost track of where he was on the field. He, I think, had the inside track on actually beating that man and scoring a touchdown here. That would have been a super impressive touchdown, but still a very huge return. Ian Francis has been one of the few bright spots for this Predators team. He had that fluke fumble recovery on that past kickoff, and they're going to review this. I'm not sure why, but inside 2 minutes, that's just a booth review.
It just hit the 2-minute minutes as well, and so as we take another retroactive look at the play presented by Retroid. Get your SFL console at GoRetroid.com. I'll say LeBron, they're just looking for where he stepped out, partner, because I don't think he stepped out at the 30. Yeah, it looks like right there.
Yeah,
he stepped
you're right.
Out
he stepped out a couple of yards before.
And so that's where they'll eventually mark him. And as they go ahead and make the adjustment, we'll go back to SFL headquarters for a game break from Atlanta. Cam?
Thank you, Tyler. 8 minutes to go in this one at the time of this highlight, and Dynasty rolls out, finds Kay Marion, and somehow in the back of the end zone in double coverage. It's the first touchdown the undefeated Florida Storm have given up in the fourth quarter since February 4th. Atlanta's up 7. Florida's on the move. 5:48 left in that one. Back to you in Texas.
Wow, what a game.
Cam. What a game indeed. Once you're done here in Fort Worth, we encourage you to go over also here on SFL YouTube to go check out that game. Passing a double coverage, meanwhile, from Lakeman. Aiden Davis looking for his first interception of the game. Before coming into this game, partner, he was the team lead interceptions with 3. He's now tied with J.L. Browning at that mark after J.L. Browning's 2 interceptions tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure Aiden Davis is going to think about that and come out even more aggressive in the coming weeks to make sure he's on top. But yeah, J.L. Browning had a huge game.
Right side, good catch from Davius Reed inside the 15, and that's the Predators' first timeout as they go into the red zone.
This is all set up by Ian Francis. That huge return has put them in a position to only maybe you have to take a couple shots downfield before they score a touchdown. Davius Reed, we see there, 84 yards on 3 catches. He's been up and down, but had a couple of huge plays.
First and 10. Lakeman, middle, picked off, number 5. And that should pretty much do it. Ben Stone hauls in the interception, his first of the night. And it's 5 picks for Lakeman, and that's the backbreaker.
Brutal. I mean, it's just brutal. He was going for Honus Adobe, double covered. Ben Stone just standing there, makes the play, gets out to the 14-yard line, and they just have to kneel. Victory formation here. Oh, not quite victory formation. Apologies. I might run.
They got a couple timeouts. They got to burn for Charleston.
They got to burn them.
Second game this season for John Lakeman that he's thrown 5 interceptions. Pass is incomplete.
Well,
good hit from Torrey Menor.
Don't have to burn timeouts if you create incomplete passes. So
there you go. Still giving Charleston a little bit of life.
playing with their food a little bit.
formation, 2 tight end look out of the Toros as they might go back to the air here. Still don't know what the game plan is or the mindset is, but Bacon with a nice hurdle gets out of a tackle and is eventually brought down. And Charleston will use their second timeout. The Charleston Predators will go back home next week to face Queen City. And the Fort Worth Toros will go on the road next week to face Indianapolis. Indy playing later tonight. Indy wins, they'll move to 5-4, which would be a really good move for Indianapolis. It might even look to be a solid Week 11 game for a couple of playoff hopefuls. Indy is still looking to hang around in there. In that Central Division after Minnesota fell to Baltimore earlier this weekend. Bacon on third down, pushing the pile, gets the first down. There's the final timeout for Charleston, and that is your final nail in Charleston's coffin.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Charleston did not play well today, but they were a hot team coming into this game. They had a couple of really impressive wins. The Toros should be pretty happy to bounce back from that loss against the Mavericks. And really, their toughest part of the schedule is behind them. They had DC, they had Houston, Florida, Minnesota, and now they've got Indianapolis, Louisiana, Baltimore. Those are not easy games by any stretch, I want to be clear, and a couple of them are on the road. But the Toros have kind of stood up to some really tough teams and mostly come away with victories. So they're on an upswing here, it feels like, despite that big loss to San Diego last week. This is a big win to head into the last 3 games of the season. And for Charleston, they got to look for answers. Like you said, they got 2 really tough games on the road to end in Atlanta and Minnesota. So they got to regroup and go back home to play Queen City, make some adjustments, and try to get John Lakeman maybe a better game plan here. Less pressure on him to make all the plays.
There'll be one more kneel down from Marcus Dunhill, but it's Xavier Solomon, the X Factor, has really had himself a game as well for Charleston. Just was unable to do it. Davius Reed ultimately ends up with more yards. Solomon, though, with a couple, just those 2 guys in general. Benjamin Warder making a few spectacular grabs on us. Adobe with a couple of good contributions. And it just unraveled for Charleston, and so does their win streak. 4 games is all they will get in a row to get back to 500. A admirable, resurgent Charleston is unable to find their way past the Toros, as the Toros will pick up win number 6 and now move clear out in front of that South Division. 40-14, your final. John, the Toros took command in this game, and they never looked back.
Yeah, obviously creating those turnovers made a huge difference after a rip-roaring first quarter, which really saw some really spectacular offensive play from both of these teams. Fort Worth really tightened the clamps on John Lakeman and the Predators' offense and turned right around and said, hey, Marcus Dunhill is going to have maybe one of his most efficient games, not only of the season, but of the past few years of his career. 4 touchdowns on a really efficient passing day. Stephen Hacker coming alive and scoring 3 touchdowns. Just a massive game. And Jay-Z Bacon, almost 150 yards on the ground. Just a super efficient day. Over a yard over his average. And just a lot of contributors for this Toros team. On the flip side, Lakeman in this offense, if they've got to figure out their game plans. He only had 8 carries from running backs in this game. That is not a formula for success down the line as they head toward the playoffs. So they've got to make some adjustments. I think they can do it. This defense is great. Sam Blotner had 22 tackles. That's ridiculous. So if Lakeman doesn't turn the ball over all the time, this defense can put them in a position to win. It just didn't happen today.
18 official tackles, 12 more than any other player in the ball game. And that's the one final bright spot for Charleston. It's the Toros who take home the victory. And that'll do it. 40-14 here for Fort Worth. For Andrew Gibson and Jacob Clear on stats, for Cameron Irvine back at SFL headquarters, and for my partner, John Warren, I've been Tyler Falks. Thank you so much for joining us. More SFL action coming up here at the 9 o'clock Eastern hour. We'll see you then. Until then, everybody,